Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, we are going to start the lecture number 40, chapter number 4 and grade 11, diffusion and effusion of the gases. So if you look the previous classes, grade 9, there was a topic diffusion and effusion of the gases. Diffusion of gas means spontaneous mixing of gas with another at a given temperature and pressure is called diffusion of the gases. Spontaneous mixing of the gases from high concentration to low concentration. From high concentration to low concentration is called diffusion of the gases. Spontaneous mixing, because gas molecules have ability to spread in all possible directions, because they have the very large spaces present between them. They have to move from one place to other place. That's why they can diffuse. So again I am telling you that diffusion means the spontaneous mixing of the gas molecules from high concentration to low concentration at a given temperature and pressure is called diffusion of the gases. So examples of diffusion of gases are spread of scent, spread of fragrance, spread of ether throughout the room. If one person is spreading the perfume from one corner, so within a little time, passage of time, it is spread in the whole room. Because these perfume particles, they are going to diffuse in the air particles, they collide with each other, and the wall of container, they spread in the whole container or whole room. That's why it is going to be felt in all corners of the room. This is the diffusion of the gases. The spread of the smell of egg in the kitchen. The spread of the fragrance of the rose flower in the garden. So there is the one thing we will do also. Simple experiment. So you have ammonia gas solution, and hydrogen chloride solution. You have hydrochloric acid. Make a cotton soap and put in the ammonia, and you have to put one corner of the open glass tube, and also same is the HCl vapors, cotton soap. You have to put there. So they will diffuse. This ammonia gas is going to travel from this side to this side, and HCl is travel from this side to this side, and they will meet at one point. We will discuss later this. So, not equal. So here is the chemical reaction between them, and you will find a cloud of ammonium chloride. So approximately 60 centimeters, if this is the total length is 100 centimeters, 60 centimeters travel by the ammonia and 40 centimeters travel by the hydrogen chloride. Just I am giving you a hint that lighter gases travel more distance than that of the heavier gases. So this is the heavier gas, and this lighter gas 60 centimeters and 40 centimeters. So this is the diffusion of the gases, which is given in your book also. Reddish brown bromine gas in the test tube will combine with the another test tube. The red coloration of the bromine gas will spread in the test tube containing air. Now there is also diffusion in the liquids. If you have a beaker bit of glass and you put some water and put the red ink, 2 drops of red ink, it will spread equally throughout the water. This is the diffusion of the also liquids. Then there is the effusion of the gases. Effusion of gas is the movement of the gas molecules through actually small pores. Region from the low pressure is called effusion of the gases. Effusion of the gases means the movement of gas molecules through extremely throttle, small hole, small pores in the region of low pressure is called effusion of the gases. The escaping of molecules is not due to the collision, but it's their tendency to escape from one by one. So this is the one by one gas molecules. They are escaped from the small tiny hole, not due to the collision of the gas molecules. Just like air is coming from the balloon, air coming from the car tire. This is the effusion of the gases. So dear students, the definition you done in the grade 9. Now there we have a law. We have a law of diffusion and effusion. We call Gram's law of diffusion and effusion. Gram's law of diffusion and effusion of gases. Gram's law of diffusion and effusion of the gases in 1831 and 1805 to 1869. This law was presented in 1831. According to this English scientist Thomas Gram, he measured the rates of which equal volume of various gases escape from an apparatus at the same temperature and pressure. Whereas I told you, give the example for the ammonia gas and hydrogen chloride gas, because their masses are different. One is a lighter gas, another is a heavier gas, so the rate is going to change very. So Gram focused that the less dense gas, just like ammonia gas, less dense as compared to the hydrogen chloride gas. Or we can say lighter gas is faster as compared to the denser gas to escape out. So according to this phenomena, he put forward the law. In 1831, he presented the law that the rate of diffusion or effusion of gases, the rate of diffusion or effusion of the gases is inversely proportional to the square of their densities. Rate of, I am going to write its formula, then I will explain it. Rate of diffusion or effusion of the gases. Suppose this is the rate of gas A and this is the rate of gas B. Rate of diffusion of two gases A and B is inversely proportional to the square of their densities. This is a under root. Inversely proportional means this is the molecular mass of gas B or density of the gas B. I will explain later. Density of the gas B and divided by the density of the gas A. This is called the Gram's law of diffusion and effusion. Rate of diffusion of gas A, rate of diffusion of the gas B is inversely proportional to the density of the gas B divided by density of the gas under root. This is a Gram's law of diffusion and effusion. The rate of diffusion or effusion of gas is inversely proportional to the square root of their density. Then he said in 1848, same, he also explained the law in this form. Rate of diffusion of gas A and B inversely proportional to the square root of their molar masses. So molar mass of the gas B divided by the molar mass of gas A. So both are kept. These are the laws. These are the laws. This side should be equal to this side. Rate of diffusion of gas A and B is inversely proportional to their densities and their molecular masses. So this is the law we call Gram's law of diffusion and effusion. Later in 1848, he himself showed that the rate of diffusion or effusion of gas is inversely proportional to the square root of their molar masses also. So this is the law. So if you explain this law, so first of all we have explained according to density. So this is the rate of density in gas 1 directly proportional to under root density of the gas. This is like this one. Or rate of diffusion of the gas, same molecular mass. Both are same. R is the rate of the gas, D is the density of the gas, M is the molecular mass of the gas. It is the same as this one. So if you are going to write the equal sign, then you have to put the K proportionality constant. The rate of diffusion of the gas 1 is K over under root D, or rate of diffusion of gas 1 is equal to K divided by under root M. So this is the rate of diffusion of the gas 1 and this is the density of the gas 1. This is the rate of diffusion of the gas 1, this is the molecular mass of the gas 1. Rate of diffusion of the gas 2 and density of the gas 2. Rate of diffusion of the gas 2 K divided by molecular mass of the gas like this. So if you are going to add these both, you will get this one. Rate of diffusion of gas A or 1, rate of diffusion of gas 1 divided by rate of diffusion of gas 2 is equal to square of the density of gas 2 divided by density of gas 1, or molecular mass of the gas 2 divided by molecular mass of the gas 1. This is called a Gram's law of diffusion or effusion. This is the rate is directly proportional 1 over under root D density of the gas. Rate is directly proportional to the 1 over m molecular mass of the gas. So if you remove the proportion sign, then you have to put the equal sign. The rate of gas 1, K is the proportionality constant, R is the rate, D is the density of the gas. So K over under root D1 density of the gas 1 or K over M1 molecular mass of the gas 1. Likewise, rate of diffusion of gas 2, this is the K divided by under root density of the gas 2. Rate of diffusion of gas 2 is equal to K over molecular mass of the gas 2. If you add, you will get these formulas. It means that rate of diffusion or effusion of gas is inversely proportional to the square root of their densities and molecular masses. So this is called a Gram's law of diffusion and diffusion. So dear students, here the numerical symbol we have to do this one according to Gram's law of diffusion and diffusion. So in the book, equal volumes of the gases. This is in my book example number 4.22. HCl gas, sulfur dioxide gas. Two gases, rate of diffusion of HCl and rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide gas, confined in a porous container. What will be the comparative rates of diffusion of gases through the porous walls? Very simple. We use this formula because densities are not given. Second, molecular masses. So molecular mass of HCl is 36.5. Molecular mass of sulfur dioxide is 64. This is the law. You can put heavier gas as a numerator and lighter gas as a denominator is nothing, no difference. But preferably when you are comparing the rates, so that's why preferably lighter gas you have to put the numerator side and heavier gas you have to put the denominator side. The rate of diffusion of hydrogen chloride gas divided by rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide gas. The square root of the molecular mass of sulfur dioxide gas divided by molecular mass of hydrogen chloride gas. So apply the formula, put the values here. Sulfur dioxide gas 64 and hydrogen chloride is a 36.5. So if you divide and take the under root, you will get the answer. Rate of HCl is a 1.33. Rate of sulfur dioxide gas is 1. It means that hydrogen chloride being a lighter gas, I told you lighter gases diffuse with a faster rate as compared to the heavier gases. So the hydrogen chloride being a lighter gas diffuse 1.33 faster than that of the sulfur dioxide gas. We have to compare. This is a 1, this is a 1.33. So 1.33 times faster than that of the sulfur dioxide gas. There is given here. Hence, the rate of diffusion of hydrogen chloride gas will be 1.33 times the rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide gas. This is very simple use of the Gram's law of diffusion and diffusion. There is one example more, and which is also same given in the exercises also. You have to solve. This is example number 4.23. If 280 centimeter cube of hydrogen gas is equal to 280 centimeter cube. time for the hydrogen gas. Time for the hydrogen gas 40 seconds. If the 280 centimeter cube of hydrogen diffuses in the 40 seconds, how long will it take 490 centimeter cube of X gas? This is the X gas, 490 centimeter cube. So time for the X gas you have to calculate. And hint is given for you students. The vapor density of X gas is 25. So by using the vapor density, this is a hint, you can calculate the molar mass of the gas. So molar mass of the gas will be hydrogen, because 2, molar mass of hydrogen is 2. So the molar mass of X gas will be vapor density multiplied by 2, you will get 50. Molar mass of the X gas is a 50 and the molar mass of the hydrogen is a 2. Multiply by 2 vapor density, you will get the 50 molar mass of the X gas. Written here, where the vapor density is a 25 to diffuse under the same conditions, molecular mass of hydrogen gas is 2 multiplied by 225, you will get a 50. Okay. Now, if we are going to calculate rate of diffusion of the hydrogen, rate of diffusion of the hydrogen, the formula is, this is the velocity which is going to diffuse. So the formula is velocity over time. Okay. So rate of diffusion of hydrogen gas will be equal 280 divided by 40 centimeter cubes second. So 280 divided by 4, you will get a 7 centimeter cube per second. This is for the rate of diffusion of the hydrogen gas. This is for the hydrogen gas I have calculated. Now rate of diffusion of the X gas, same velocity over time, but velocity is given. That is a 490 centimeter cube. Time is not given. You have to calculate the time in seconds. This is the seconds you have to calculate. That's why 490 centimeter cube per second over time. So now apply the Grams law of diffusion and effusion, then you will be able to calculate this one. You have to write in your copy, then I will apply the formula. Rate of diffusion of hydrogen gas divided by rate of diffusion of X gas inversely proportional to the square root of the molecular mass of the X gas divided by molecular mass of the hydrogen gas. This is a formula you done. Now put the values here. When you are going to put the values, when you sort this, when you put the values there, 7. This is the rate of for the hydrogen gas you done. When you are going to divide 280 by 40, you will get 7 centimeter cube per second. T2 will be the numerator. When you insert the value here, you have to find this T2 divided by 490. That is the rate of the X gas. We don't know about this one. Inversely proportional to square root of their molar masses, 50 divided by 2. So this will be a 7 multiplied by P2 divided by 490 is equal to under root 25 over 1, or if you are going to under root this, take the root for this, 7 multiplied by P2 divided by 490 is equal to 5 over 1. 5 over 1, then you have to cross multiply. 490 multiplied by 5 is equal to 7 multiplied by P2. So P2 will be equal to 490 multiplied by 5 divided by 7. So the answer is given here 350 seconds. 350 seconds time. Hence, time for the diffusion of unknown gas X is 350 seconds. So this is the 7 which you done for the division of the rate of diffusion of the hydrogen gas, and T2 you have to calculate when you insert the value. This will be the numerator, and 490 the denominator. 50 is the molar mass of the X2, and the 2 is the molar mass for the hydrogen R1 or R2. R1 for R2, 50 divided by 2 is 25 over 1 under root 5 over 1. So 7 multiplied by T2 to 490. So cross multiply this, and this will take the time outside. You will get the time for diffusion, rate of diffusion of unknown gas X2 will be 350 seconds. So write down this. Then we have here the activity. This is a simple same, and you have to do yourself. That just I will give you a hint. If the 465 centimeter cube of sulfur dioxide gas. So students, this is the rate of the sulfur dioxide gas, the 465, just like I told you, 280 for the rate of the hydrogen, the same is given for sulfur dioxide gas. Porous partition 30 seconds. Time for the sulfur dioxide gas is 30 seconds. How long will 620, this is the rate of diffusion of the hydrogen sulfide gas, H2 hydrogen sulfide gas, diffuse same partition? You have to calculate the time. So here no need for the vapor density because the formula of the gas is given. Both gases are given. There are no unknown gas. He said calculate the time for the hydrogen sulfide gas. So dear students, sulfur dioxide gas same 64 molar masses, and hydrogen sulfide, sulfur is 32, hydrogen is 2, 34. 34. So hydrogen sulfide is a lighter gas and sulfur dioxide gas is a heavier gas. You can put, it's not necessary that you have to put the heavier gas at the numerator side or the lighter gas at the denominator side. It's no problem. So you have to solve according to this formula. Rate of diffusion of the hydrogen sulfide divided by the rate of diffusion of sulfur dioxide gas, molecular mass of the sulfur dioxide gas divided by molecular mass of the hydrogen sulfide gas, and volumes are given here, rates are given. One time is given, you have to calculate another time. So this numerical you have to solve. This is the liquefaction of the Grams law of diffusion and effusion of the gases. Grams law of effusion of the gas. Now we have a very important topic again. We done the non-ideal behavior of the gases, liquefaction. How gases can be liquefied. So students, you done the deviation of the gases from the ideal behavior. I told you that gases are ideal at low temperature and low pressure and high temperature. Gases are ideal at low pressure. When the pressure is low, the gas molecules are far away from each other. High temperature, kinetic energy of the gas molecule is going to be increased and they are going to be far away. So the gas molecules are apart from each other, show more ideal nature. Lighter gases are also more ideal than that of the heavier gases. So it means that liquefaction temperature for the heavier gas is a higher temperature as compared for the lighter gases. And according to kinetic molecular theory of gases, 240 points, the gases are non-ideal. The gases are non-ideal at high pressure and low temperature. So I think in the previous lectures I told you when you are going to maintain these conditions, means critical temperature, critical volume and critical pressure. The workers, the engineers, they work in this field for the liquefaction of the gases. They must follow these conditions, how gases are liquefied. So maintain the pressure and temperature and volume critical, these are going to be gases are liquefied. So main thing is that at high pressure and low temperature, gases are non-ideal and they can be liquefied. So here the principle is given. We call Joule's function. Joule's Thomson effect. The liquefaction of gases, already I told you, acquires at high pressure and low temperature, which is non-ideal behavior. The gases, gas molecules contract, they come close with each other, and the attractive forces operate between the gas molecules and the gas is liquefied. At highly compressed gas is allowed to escape. You have the same principles we use in the air conditioner system, refrigerator system and others. There is a compressor and freon gas or other gases are going to be used in the compressor. So compressor maintain the pressure about 200 atmospheric pressure. So when this compressed gas is going to be allowed to pass, throttles, very small hole. So then from the high pressure 200 atmospheric pressure when passed through the spiral tubes, zigzag tubes. So when it is going to be out in the low pressure, means 1 atmosphere pressure, suddenly cooling taking place, and in this case gases are liquefied. Okay. So when highly compressed gas is allowed to escape out through the throttle small hole of the tube, the temperature falls such an extent that changes, the gas changes from gaseous state to liquid state. This is called a Joule-Thomson effect. The phenomena already I told you in the previous lectures also. Now, when you are going to compress the gas at 200 atmosphere pressure in the compressor, so the gas molecules are going to be very close. Gases are going to be very close. Attractive forces operate between the gas molecules with a result that molecular attraction increase between the gas molecules. Now, when it is going to pass through the zigzag pipes, if you see the air conditioner, there are zigzag small pipes are here, and if you see the refrigerator of back side also, you will find the zigzag pipes of copper, and gas is going to be circulate. So when this gas is going to be suddenly enter from the high pressure 200 to very low pressure 1 atmosphere pressure, then suddenly cooling taking place and the gas is going to be liquefied. From high pressure to region of the low pressure, the molecules move apart from each other suddenly. In this doing, intermolecular attractive forces are going to be overcome and gas changes into gas afterwards. This energy is taken from the molecules themselves, and therefore the gas is going to be cooled. So this process is repeated many times because there is a no hole to out. So this gas is going to be also enter in the same compressor. That's why the cycle is repeated time to time, and that's why this principle, these refrigerator compressors are going to be work in air conditioning system also. If you find in the car also, there are also air conditioners car, freon gas is going to be used. So you will find two pipes, two kinds of pipe. One is a very hot pipe and another is a cold pipe. And by the same principle, the liquefaction of gases take place, and the compressor works on this principle, and liquefaction and the cooling process is going to be. So this principle is used. This principle is used by the other scientists, that's called lines. In 1895. This principle was used by Line in 1895. According to Joule-Thomson effect, same principle I am repeating again. When a highly compressed gas is allowed to escape out through the throttle small hole, the temperature of the gas falls to such an extent that changes into a liquid form. This is called Joule-Thomson effect and was used by the lines. So this is the basic principle of adiabatic expansion, which is thermally isolated from the environment. Joule-Thomson expansion substituted along cooling affect this one. So I told you, you can see the diagram which is given in your book, how the refrigerators and other appliances they are working. So I told you the gas is going to be compressed about 200 atmosphere pressure. You are seeing that. So here the water is going to be condensed from this, removed from this one. The heat is generated. I told you a very hot pipe. Result of compression is removed by passing gas through the coil C. You can see diagram. Dry gas without water molecules pass through the copper spiral coils. I told you there are spiral pipes, zigzag pipes, coils. Then it is going to be expanded almost atmosphere pressure. I told you when 200 changes to 1 atmosphere pressure, then suddenly cooling takes place and it is going to pass through the refrigerator. And control valve V, the issuing of gas now cooled due to the Joule-Thomson effect and is passed over the copper spiral tubes, zigzag tubes. Further incoming compressed gas. The cycle is repeated because there is no leakage. So this cycle is repeated again and again, again and again. That's why when you are going on your refrigerator by using electric current, so it works by using this principle. The temperature of the expanding gas finally drops. The remaining air is going to be liquefied. So liquid air collects the air chamber and can be drawn off. Any uncondensed air is recirculated. This is the same principle and uses also same. I will repeat here also. Constructions of appliances, refrigerator, same time I told you. This appliance, refrigerator, air conditioners are working on this principle. We use a freon gas, but students, freon gas is now it creates pollution in the atmosphere. It depletes the ozone layer. You done in the grade 10 also. You will do also grade in the 12. So chlorofluorocarbon (CFC) is a stable in the troposphere here, where we live. This is called troposphere. About surface of Earth 12 kilometers. This is a troposphere. So here it is stable, does not react. Slowly and gradually it diffuses, and it is going to reach in the stratosphere, which is called ozone layer, about 12 to 50 kilometers above. So in the region of 20 or 23 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, ozone layer is there. So ozone is a very important gas for the human beings because it filters the ultraviolet rays coming from the sun. These are highly dangerous. They affect the this skin or the rubber. So that's why no life if there's no ozone gas. So dear students, this CFC chlorofluorocarbon will reach the stratosphere. So this CFC is going to react with the ozone changing to oxygen gas. So this is the pollution. I told you how the depletion of the ozone gas is going to be here. So CFC is not used in the refrigerators now. Free from CFC, other gases are going to be used. The same principle is going to be used here. The gas is going to be compressed at 200 atmosphere pressure in the compressor. So there are zigzag tubes. Already I told you, copper zigzag tubes. The gas is going to be passed. The temperature first is going to be rises. Then it is going to be passed through the zigzag tubes, and along in the 1 atmosphere pressure, the considerable temperature is going to be drops. The kinetic energy of freon molecules become very cold. This cold gas absorbs heat from the refrigerator and it contains, thereby cooling. Then freon gas is going to once again fade, and this cycle is going to be this process continue. That due to this reason that many years we use these electric appliances. They are under use for this one, self-cooling pop container. So when we are going to buy some soft drinks, so without any refrigerator, the small container holding liquid carbon dioxide on the surface closed with high pressure. Liquid carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas is going to be liquefied at minus 80 degrees centigrade. So it is going to be compressed on the surface. Here inside there is a soft drink. So built right into the can. When can is open, suddenly when you open it, this carbon dioxide gas suddenly from liquid can is into gaseous state. So this absorb heat considerable, and the temperature is going to drop. The heat absorbed by the vaporizing of carbon dioxide gas lower the temperature about 16 degrees centigrade. 16 degrees centigrade is going to be dropped within few seconds. Thus temperature is lowered considerably. So dear students, we are going to finish up here. We have other uses also, applications of kinetic molecular theory of gases. So this chapter is going to be, we have also now going to be end. Applications of kinetic molecular theory of gases is taught in the next lecture. Thank you very much.